Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled D4vd, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring, that is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain.
And then once we clear,
Can you tell us what happened?
right now we're just investigating a possible bomb.
Does it have anything to do with anything going on today, like the Rebus case?
So David has officially been charged. I'm going to tell you about all the charges, but in the middle of the court hearing, there was a bomb threat and people had to evacuate the court hearing. Crazy. So I'm going to break down that, and I'm also going to break down the possible evidence that they have against David and David's defense. The defense, I think, they're going to actually take against the prosecution and why it won't work. Stay tuned, Fugitive TV. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel, and we take a look at cases of missing individuals or cases that need to be brought to spotlight, big cases, and then what we do is we take a look at these cases with a different point of view. The reason why this is called Fugitive TV, I was once a fugitive myself. I was on the run for 15 years. After I committed some white collar crime. I lived in different countries. I lived with different names. I figured out how to do it, manage it and everything. And then I ended up turning myself in. Now I have multiple businesses. I run this YouTube channel. I help family members even outside of this YouTube channel locate missing individuals. And I help them locate people that need to be brought to justice. Because why? I mean, why else? I was a fugitive. I know what it takes to do that. I know what they think. Well, I've brought to you so many videos on David. You know, if you've been following me, I've been digging deep into David from day one, from the day they found Celeste in the front of his Tesla. I've been digging into this, okay? All the texts, the tweets, everything. And I have been advocating from day one that justice needs to be brought down for Celeste. First of all, no grown man needs to be with nobody of that age. I don't care who you are. So I'm always going to, sorry if you think opposite, I don't know what to tell you, but me, I don't care who you are. No grown man needs to be with somebody at that age. I was probably one of the first YouTubers to tell you that, hey, he's been talking to this girl and met her since she was 11 years old. Now, yes, he was 17 going on 18, but still, you're about to be an adult. You shouldn't be talking to an 11-year-old. 11-year-old is not even in high school. They're not even barely in junior high, depending on what state you're in. Some states, junior high starts at 7th grade. So you're not even in junior high yet. You're still trying to get out of elementary school. So you have no business talking to a grown man. Well, today, official charges came down on David, and these charges, you guys, are very serious. I mean, it's the worst charges that you can get in the state of California. So I'm going to break these down to you so that way you understand exactly what he is facing. Not only that, the possible evidence that they have against them, because I'm able to, I can kind of read in between the lines when they're talking. I can kind of get the court lingo a little bit. So I can kind of tell you guys exactly that, okay, this is probably what they have on him. All right. And then possible the defense that they're probably going to come up with on their end. And I'm going to tell you why I think this is the defense, because there was a seed already planted in our brains and in our heads with our eyes that you probably didn't even realize this seed was planted. And I'm going to tell you guys about this seed and why I think they're going to go this route. So before I tell you about what happened in court today, well, you know what? Let's just go right there. David was supposed to be in court today, okay? 11 p.m. West Coast time. And what happens? A bomb threat breaks out, people. A bomb threat. People had to evacuate in the middle of the court, all kind of things.
Can you tell us what happened?
Right now, we're just investigating a possible bomb.
Does it have anything to do with anything going on today,
I
like the
can't comment
Rivas
on that.
case?
We just have to check the area, make sure everything's clear, and then we'll get you guys right back in.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Leaving this area sterile as of now. Because I know people are wanting to come in and talk, so I'd rather address everybody and kind of go over that route. Right now I have a dog running through the building to make sure everything is good to go. Once I get the okay, I will let y'all guys back in.
Sign the fence, right? Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Who you think would have did this? You think it was a crazed fan to try and stop what was going to happen? It's not going to work, people. You might as well just let it go. It's not going to happen. But let me give you a timeline real quickly so we can recap everything, okay? Because that's important. We have to recap everything so that way you know exactly what the police are talking about, what law's talking about, the prosecution's talking about, okay? Timeline of events. Now, David is the famous up-and-coming singer. He was supposed to have his debut album released before all of this happened. Celeste is a girl who went missing April 24th, 2000. I believe it was April 24th, 2024, okay? And she was missing on paper, but wasn't missing in reality, all right? So we're going to break this down for you real quickly. So January 24th, Celeste and David appear together in a live stream on Twitch, which I have a video of that for you guys. February 15th, 2024, Celeste's family reports her missing for the first time. So February 15th, 2024, she went missing for the first time, people. She didn't just go missing, she went to David's house for the first time. April 5th, 2024, Celeste is reported missing from Lake Elsinore for the final official time. So it was April 5th. Sorry about that, guys. So not 24th, April 5th, 2024. This is when she went missing again, all right? And this was for the final time. Her brother claimed she was on her way to see a movie with David. You hear that, right? Her brother claims that she was on her way to go see a movie with David. So the family knew who this individual was. All right. That's why I said it was an open secret. June 2024, Celeste is photographed backstage during David's sold out show at the Fonz Theater in Los Angeles. Okay. Late December 2024 to early January 2025, additional photos show the two together and digital evidence suggests she was still alive. All right. Digital evidence meaning as in photographs, videos of them, not just videos of her going back to the house, celebrating with the family. There's a graduation picture she's celebrating with. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things. There's even a video of her going back home and arguing with her neighbors. All right. And they have it on a video camera. And as she leaves, the neighbor's like, wait, ain't that the missing girl? What's going on? You know? So April 23rd, 2025, prosecutors allege Celeste visited David's Hollywood Hills home and was never heard from again. Now, this is the estimated time of death. Late July 2025, a Tesla Model Y registered to Burke is abandoned on a street in Hollywood Hills. Now, this says Model Y, but it's actually a Model X. So the Tesla Model X was abandoned on the street, and it was abandoned literally almost right in front of the house that David was living in, okay? September 3rd, 2025, the Tesla is towed to a Hollywood yard after exceeding parking limits. Then September 8th, workers are at the tow yard and report the foul smell. Then that's when they report it to the police. The police come and they take the vehicle. And then September 16th, Los Angeles County Medical Examiner identifies the remains as Celeste Rivas Hernandez. All right. Then September 19th, David cancels the remaining U.S. tour. And this is when everything broke off. Everything. All right. So now that you got the basic timeline, let's get into what's going on right now.
These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty.
All right, so when they found Celeste, they found her in the front in 2 separate bags, which I brought up this before. They were pretty much body bags. He ordered body bags online, and the first bag contained her torso and head that was decomposing, and then the second bag contained her limbs. Very sad. Very, very sad. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into how they say they think that what he did. All right. So April 25th, 2025, okay, is when they say she went to his home, and this is the last time she was seen alive. They believe that he did this with a sharp instrument. All right. So let me read this article for you right now. It is further alleged that in the attempt commission of the above offense, the she defendants, David Anthony Burke, personally used a deadly and dangerous weapon to which sharp instrument said use not being an element of the above offense within the meaning of Penal Code Section 12022B1 and causing the above offense to be a serious felony within the meaning of Penal Code Section 11927C23. So what's the sharp instrument? Is it a knife? A sword? Is it, what sort of sharp instrument? And I want to know, how do they know it was a sharp instrument, right? Now, of course, she was dismembered. Her limbs were chopped off. So we know from that part right there, some sort of sharp instrument had to be used just to do that. All right. Not only that, is there a second person that's involved and maybe was there with this, and they're giving this person immunity or giving this person some sort of a queen for a day? You guys are probably asking, what's queen for a day? All right. So let me break this down. I'll show you what queen for a day is real quick. All right. So you have 2 different type of agreements, okay, that you can make with prosecution. All right. This agreement I'm about to tell you right now rarely gets brought up. You really have to know about this. All right. Most of the agreements are, I'm going to censure my friend from doing this, for doing something, and you're going to get, a limited amount of time, or you're going to get reduced sentence. We all heard of that, right? And then you reach a plea deal. Well, this right here is called a proffer agreement. PROFFER. Proffer agreement, AKA they call it queen for a day, meaning at that moment, at that time, you can tell the prosecution anything you want involving that crime that they're talking about. Okay. For that day, anything you want, the situation. I don't care what you did. I don't care if you took out 30, 20 people. You can tell them anything you want for that day. And then there's an agreement that is placed between you and the prosecution. That agreement might be, hey, we're not going to charge you whatsoever, but in return, you have to be our number one witness and you have to testify. Okay. Now, it says a queen for a day agreement or proffer agreement is a written contract in U.S. federal criminal law between a prosecutor, a suspect, and defendant. It allows suspect to share information regarding crimes with the government, agreeing not to use those specific statements directly against them at trial, often in exchange for a lighter sentence. So if they have another person that's a witness, this person could be getting a queen for a day treatment, meaning you let us know, because they want David. If you was there and you witnessed it, even if you helped, you let us know and you tell us everything that happened. But here's the trick. After that day, you cannot speak on it. So you can't make no movies. You can't write no books. You can't do any of this or you'll get in trouble. You know who got offered this and they got into trouble and why they're facing the trial right now? Keefe D. If you don't know who Keefe D is, Google him. Keefe D is one of the alleged shooters or was in the car when Tupac died. When Tupac got in Vegas, when he got shot and the car pulled up beside him, Keefe D allegedly was in that car. And he's the only one alive today that was in that car. All right. Well, they gave Keefe D queen for a day. They gave him queen for a day. A long time ago. I'm talking about 2 decades ago, pretty much. They gave him queen for a day. And he told everything that happened. But where Keefe D messed up is after that day, he decided to write a book. Then he went on interviews telling everything. And that's how he ended up getting arrested. And that's why he's facing trial now. Cosby pretty much almost had the same situation almost, where he went in, told the prosecution everything about the women and admitted to a lot of stuff. And then the prosecution in return was like, okay, we're not going to convict you. But the prosecution changed, and the new prosecution was like, oh, we're convicting him. That's why Cosby got off of his. Exactly why. Well, so if you have a witness, this witness could be being offered queen for a day, a proffer agreement. Now, could be how they know. They're also saying that in May is when she was dismembered. That's what they're saying in May. So do they know this from another witness? Is there video evidence of them leaving house? Because the house had a lot of video cameras. Is there video evidence and evidence from the Tesla? Because the Tesla is nothing but a moving computer. Tesla's a big computer. That's all it is, people. No, don't commit a crime in a Tesla. I'm telling you right now, don't try and steal one. Don't try and commit a crime in one. Don't even think about it, because you're going to get caught. They even have camera inside. I have one. They even have a camera inside. And if you don't believe me, you can look up the lawsuit that the people had to file on Tesla because Tesla workers were secretly filming people driving their Tesla car. And they didn't even know they were getting filmed, and they were picking their nose, all kind of stuff, falling asleep. And then the Tesla workers took those footages and was putting them on TikTok online and things like that. And that was how they got caught. So they do have a camera inside of them. That is also how, if you have the feature where the car would drive itself, there's a camera inside looking at your face, making sure you are awake and not sleeping. So there's cameras all around it. They record 24/7, and Tesla does have a cloud. They have a cloud. All that stuff is kept. Now, I'm wondering if they're using footage from the Tesla and then timestamps of every time the door closes, things like that. You know, because if you remember correctly, they said David took a trip in the middle of the night to Santa Barbara. I forgot the date. You guys can give me the date, please, if you know what I'm talking about. But he said he took a middle of the night trip to Santa Barbara and then came back, and they think that's when maybe he dismembered her. So we're going to find out more, hopefully, you know, when court comes back from the threat, obviously. But so the charges they are giving David, okay? They're giving David a charge of first degree unaliving. Now here in YouTube world, a small channel like mine, I can't say the MURDER word, red rum word. So until I can get bigger, so help me by subscribing, following, turn on your notifications. I'm almost at 25,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, people. But help me out, because once I get bigger, then I can take the filter off my mouth. But until then, you guys have to live with this unaliving word, which I hate too. But they are saying that, I'm sorry. They gave him unaliving with special circumstances. Now, if you guys don't know what this is, special circumstances, first degree M with special circumstances. Special circumstances mean the death penalty is on the table. Now in California, I don't think anybody's been executed forever. They have it on pause, ban, whatever you want to call it right now. But elections coming up. If a new person gets elected, let's say they elect a Republican, we know Republicans are in favor for that. So if a Republican gets elected, because nobody likes, who is it out there, Gavin Newsom, and everybody's like, no, we need to go a different route, he can turn that switch back on, and now people are facing a death penalty. So that's what the special circumstances means. It means death penalty can be on the table. So can we see a famous singer get sentenced to death? Crazy, right? Now, he's not famous in my eyes. He never was. To be honest with you, I never even heard of the man until all this happened. Now, I do know he was got famous from Fortnite, which his character, his skin is still in Fortnite. They need to take it off, but his character, you can still play David the character in Fortnite as of right now. But his next charge is going to be because Celeste was a minor. Now you have to remember, he's been talking to her since she was 11 years old. Now they might not talk about it right now. I don't know if they're going to bring this up in court, but I have evidence myself they've been talking since 11 years old, and it's in my prior videos, okay? So the next one is that it's lying in wait, okay? Lying in wait, meaning pretty much he was lying, waiting on doing this to her, okay? And doing this to her, and the motivation was for profit. Money. All right. Special circumstances, monetary gain, meaning apparently she was going to threaten him by making what he's done to her public. Okay. Ruin his image, send him to jail. So he officially did something to probably make her mad. And she said, okay, all right, you want to do this? Well, I'm going to tell everybody you with a 13-year-old. Because at the time she was 13. Just turned 13. So I'm going to tell everybody what you were doing to me, who I'm only 13. So in return, what he did was okay and did this. I'm going to read the official charges right now. I'm going to read these to you. So David, Mr. Burke officially has a case number. 26CJCF02399-01. Filing date April 20th, 2026. Felony filing courthouse, Clara Shortridge Foltz Criminal Justice Center. Shows his arrest date. The people of the state of California versus Burke David Anthony. And as you see, the charges down here, count 002. Felony continuous sexual abuse of a minor. And then it shows the offense date. It has the offense date actually of September 7th, 2023. Now, how it has this offense date and how they know this exact date, they have some sort of evidence that shows that exact date. And I'm willing to bet that evidence is going to either be digital, as they were talking on the phone, or there was a witness there. And the witness can actually testify that, hey, this is what they did on that day, possibly even time. So 2023, all right, which is 2 years, actually almost to the date, almost, look, 2 years to the date, they found her in his frunk, pretty much, all right? And a few months, what's that, maybe 6 months before the family filed that April 2024 missing, poster. So we have proof right here, just off this, that she went missing that last time, April 2024, that she was messing with David. Then we have felony, MURDER, of course, unalivened. We can't say that word here. April 23rd, 2025. Then we have the alleged special for financial gain, MURDER, the same date, April 225. Then we have, unalivened to prevent testimony. Okay. Same exact date. Lying in wait, same exact date. Use of a deadly weapon. I would love to know what the deadly weapon is. Now, I do know they said it was a sharp instrument. Okay. Then we have on May 5th, 2025, mutilated grave remains. So they are saying around May, I guess that's when he dismembered her. So around May is when he dismembered her. Oh man, so sick.
The determination on whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time. Before I get into the actual charges, and there are additional charges against Mr. Berg, including continuous acts, lewd and lascivious acts with an individual under 14 and mutilating a human remains of a body. Before I get into the description of these charges and their seriousness, I want to look at this as a parent. I am a parent of 3 children, and a parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back.
So these charges are, especially with the actual charge on the minor, I think it's Penal Code 288. He will never see daylight again. Okay, again. And I don't think he is anyway. I'm gonna make a prediction that I made last year, and I'm gonna tell you guys what I think exactly is going to happen. Okay, but I'm gonna save that to the end once I get finished with this. Now, of course, they're saying that he did this with a sharp object, a sharp instrument. They're saying he did this for, that she was going to expose him. So he had to unalive her so he can keep his finances coming in, right? Now, this is what the prosecution's saying. They have the whole motive. They have the whole story. And during the press conference, they did give you some clues of the evidence they have. They said with a mixture of digital evidence. So digital evidence is going to be video, phone logs, if they were talking on Snapchat, Instagram. Then he said with a mixture of witnesses. So he's going to have people getting on the stand, pointing the finger at him, saying he did this and did that. Okay. So does that go back to that prior date I brought up on the charge where it said this date, this he violated her on this term or this date? Because like I said, how do they know that? She's not alive to tell them. So did he send her a text message? Were they talking on the phone about it? Or was somebody there that witnessed it? Or was it a combination of both? Somebody's getting on the stand, if not a few people are getting on the stand against him. I told you already, there is some other people who are allegedly are victims. I said in my last video, I spoke with one of the victim's parents. This victim was around the same age, 12, 13 years old. I have to look back over my notes. And basically what David was doing, allegedly, he was lurking on females who were young and who their family did not have a lot of money. Celeste's family didn't have a lot of money. So he would use gifts. He would wine and dine. He would say, I can take your friends to parties. I can do this. And of course, what do you think is going to happen? Oh yeah, let's go. Well, that's what was told to me by the other victims. So there's a pattern of this. So is this guy a predator? Is this something he's doing? Is there more people out there that just hasn't came forward? Not only that, is Celeste the first victim of being in the trunk? Makes you wonder, huh? Is there anybody else he did this to because he felt comfortable doing this to her? Who also, somebody had to be driving a Tesla because when they found it, he was on tour, allegedly. So somebody drove the Tesla and parked it. So were they involved too? Now, Steve Fisher investigates, private investigator. He already says he has the footage and knows who was driving the Tesla last. I would love to see who that is. It's probably going to get brought up in court and trial once it goes to trial. And I'm hoping they let the cameras in there. They let the cameras in there. Oh, yeah, I am going to go on this case. Don't worry about it. I will keep you guys informed of everything. All right. But I mean, what do you guys think of the charges so far? Do you think the charges are enough? Do you think this is what he should be getting? Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. The defense is most likely going to go with, and I'm not going to be shocked to go with this. It was an accident. She did it herself. She OD'd. Because if she was think about it. They found her in September 2025, but they're saying he did this to her in April of 2025. I mean, April of 2025. So you have January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 5 months later, people, 5 months, a little under 5 months. So toxicology reports certain things in her system would not be there by that time. So they can easily lie and say, hey, they were all doing these narcotics. They panicked. They didn't know what to do. They didn't want to ruin his image. And this is what he did. And if this is the case, then now the charge gets turned into, abuse of a corpse and dismembering or whatever it is, which is way less than the first degree with circumstances charge. Okay. Now, when it comes to the minor charges, as in being with a minor, that type of charge I'm talking about, the PDF file charges, that's going to be a little different. I don't know how he's going to defend that unless they say the other person's lying and not creditable. That's the only thing I can think about, which means he would have to register as an offender the rest of his life, even if he gets out at a certain amount of time. But I can see him going with this was an accident. And you know why I see him going with this? See, us as a people, we got to pay attention to the media, guys. And TMZ, we all know TMZ has been following this case extremely close. They're the ones who've been breaking us all the news. Matter of fact, they've been breaking us so much news. Some of it, we were like, what are you talking about? That's a lie. Remember TMZ said they found her frozen, that she was frozen in the front. Now she could have been frozen at one point. Who knows? That's probably why it took so long. But they found her frozen in the test. That didn't make sense because it's the middle of September and she was in that Tesla for how long? She would have been defrosted. Hate to say it, but she would have. So that didn't make sense. So there's a bunch of things. I'm not going to get into everything, but do you remember after David hired his new lawyer? You know who she's friends with, right? You know who she knows? She knows Harvey from TMZ. They know each other. They know each other. They have coffee together. They know each other. So, and after David hired her, do you remember what they were saying on TMZ? They were the ones that reported first that this could be an accident. We're getting reports that she could have OD'd and it could have been an accident. So if that's the case, then maybe he won't get charged with official unaliving because it could have been accident. They were the ones that planted that seed in our head. So why did they go out and do this after David got the lawyer? Was there a meeting behind closed doors? Because you got to think about something. They got to get jury members. They got to get jury members, right? And they're going to ask you jury members, do you know who David is? Do you know who David is? They're going to ask these jury members, okay? And I'm willing to bet prosecution is not going to ask the jury members, hey, did you watch TMZ one time and they mentioned that she could have did it herself? She could have OD'd. I'm pretty sure they're not going to ask that question because first of all, they don't want to ask that question. They don't want to give up what the defense could be because now they're laying their hand out. And now the defense is like, oh, they think we're coming this way. So let's change it up a little bit. You get what I'm saying? So they're not going to ask that question. But even if a juror did see that and they probably don't remember it, the seed is already planted in their head. They'll be thinking, oh, wait, maybe he did OD. And they're going to be thinking like, why do I think this? Well, they put it in your head from the start for about a month. So I could see them going that route. Now, are they going to go that route? I don't know. But if I was prosecution, I would be prepared for that route. Now, either way it goes, I don't think the jury is going to like David anyway, because once, they get a hold of all the PDF file charges, I don't think the jury is going to like him anyway. So he's going to get found guilty, even if it's that, and I don't think David's going to make it in prison, y'all. He is not the prison type. If he goes and he makes it, he's going to be somebody's girlfriend. I'm going to let you know that right now. He's going to be somebody's girlfriend. And I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't make it, as in they find him Epstein. I would not be shocked. He doesn't look like he's built for that life. Nobody should be built for that life, honestly, but I don't think he is. I'm just telling like how I see it. But when I get more details, I'm gonna let you guys know. Let you tell you guys the charges, break it all down for you. Please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Okay. Tell me where you're commenting from, country, city, state. I try to interact with everybody I can that comments on my channel, and I can't get to everybody, especially when the comments can become a lot, but I try my best, and I'm always going to be that way. All right. So Fugitive TV, please take care. Love one another. All right. Look out for your surroundings. Watch your surroundings. And until next time, I'm out.